Home of the prodigal son, young Chad Townsend. And Chad Townsend plays on, plays to the whistle, kicks away for Valentine home. Townsend, brilliant.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Townsend Show. If you're new here, please make sure you do subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. Whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify, we really appreciate if you would rate and review over there, and obviously over here on YouTube as well. If you're watching our podcast, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop us a comment, ask a question here on YouTube. We will answer the best questions on the show. So really appreciate your support. If you can take time to do that, it means a lot. Before we get into the episode, as I always do, bring him in for the weekend. Victor, how was your weekend, mate?
Good, mate. Good, mate. It was the first week of soccer for me this weekend.
Probably didn't start the greatest, actually, on Thursday night for you, actually. You were a bit sad after that, Thursday night?
That was out of my brain. What happened Thursday night?
Your team lost.
Nah.
Your team lost on the buzzer.
I forgot about it. And now I've remembered it. And I took 2 L's this weekend.
2 L's. Well, I took an L too. So we got 3 L's between us. So
it was a bit of an L weekend.
It was a little bit of an L weekend, but well, look, we're turning up. We're here like we always do Mondays. We record our podcast. We have a lot of fun here on Mondays, and with you guys joining us, we really appreciate this little community that we've been able to build, and we're going to build over the long term. So let's get stuck into what's on today's show. We'll have a look at what's trending in the NRL. Lots happened over the last week. Obviously, with us, recording every Monday, we do miss a little bit of the news throughout the week. So a lot happened last week. We're going to go over that so far this week. We react to the biggest takeaways from this past weekend. Have a look at some of the games. We've got Halfback House, as always, where we have a look at some of the halves and we check out what they've done. And we've got some fan questions as well. So let's get stuck into what's trending in the NRL. And I guess the biggest thing out of last weekend was probably the eligibility rules, and the confusion is back. And to me, this seems to pop up every single year. I think that the eligibility rules, and I always feel that like Mal Meninga's he's got quotes.
The centre of it, isn't he?
He's always the centre of it. I guess he's Australian coach, and obviously he always gets asked for his opinion, and obviously he's got a very strong one with being the Australian coach. And a quote from Mal Meninga just last week was, quote, "I just feel that we take the tears away now and value the international jersey a bit more." And I guess this is on the back of, some reports stating that Payne Haas and Tino Fa'asuamaleaui are looking at opting in for Samoa. And what that kind of means for Australia and Origin, and, where we actually stand with eligibility rules. So,
yeah. Where do you stand on it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it is a tricky one, but having seen a lot of the coverage over the past week and kind of forming my opinion on the topic, look, I'm a traditionalist. I love State of Origin. I grew up watching State of Origin. I didn't grow up watching, Pacific Test matches, but the game has changed. The game has changed now. The Pacific nations, the percentage of Pacific players now compared to 20 years ago has drastically changed for the better. And I think, we need to make these rules so the best players are playing in the biggest and best games. So, do I have a problem or with someone looking to play Origin throughout the season and then playing for Samoa at the end of the year? Like, I don't have a problem with that. But also, I am a traditionalist. Like, I love Origin. Like, I want Origin to be, the best players playing the best players. Like, that's what our spectacle is. I do think, having the ability to kind of opt in with, what you want to do to obviously give time, so there's no kind of grey area. So maybe there's like a date or something that we look at where players, they obviously pick their allegiances quite early in the season, something like that. I think, might make it not so much grey, and people have a bit more clarity about where players actually want to represent. But look, I think if you're playing in the NRL and you're one of the best players and you're eligible to play Origin, like, you play Origin. Like, we want the best players playing Origin. And then at the end of the year, throughout these test matches, we want the best players playing it. And we've seen the growth of international football over the past 5-6 years that has just drastically improved out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Off the back of these Polynesian players deciding to go and play for Tonga and Samoa, you know, these world-class players who are eligible to play Origin go and play these, and these nations have just risen.
And it's awesome. Some of the fan bases they get at these games are the best in the world.
Incredible.
It's
and
so
it's
good to see.
It's the growth of the game. It's where our game's at now. Like our game is, I'm not sure of the actual percentage. It may even be above 50. You know, with regards to Polynesian players playing now, they're some of the best athletes in our game and have multiple heritages to represent. So I think we need to accommodate these guys. And I also think we need to make it clear and give the fans clarity about who's representing who each year.
Yeah. It needs to be simplified.
It just needs to be simplified.
Yeah.
If we simplify it, you know what I mean?
100%.
And it's like at the start of the year, like, you know, you might choose who you want to be eligible for to play, what you want to do.
But are you saying that it should be like they should pick at the start of the year and they can change it every year? Because I don't think they should be able to change it every year. But in terms of like the Ponga case, I think because the rules were made so early, I feel like if there is a change, he should be allowed to play for New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like just like a refresh of choosing your nation
once.
But once you've chosen that nation, especially if we put all the nations on the same level, like that's it.
Yeah.
In terms of like state of origin, I think definitely like you can play international and state of origin.
Yeah.
There was a counter argument to Wayne Bennett. Wayne Bennett said that like it will dilute kind of the passion of state of origin. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I do feel like you can be passionate about playing for Origin, and you can also be passionate about playing for, you know, another country.
I think so too.
Because of your, you know, your mum or your dad or your whatever it is, your ancestors or, you know, your heritage. But I'll go back on the comment of like having the best players play the biggest and best games.
Yep.
Like that's where I stand.
Yep.
You know, if you're eligible and you want to play and you're playing well enough to be selected, like that's what you've actually got to do, then you should be there.
Yep.
That's kind of where I stand. So
I agree.
I just think the game now is very different. And like I said, I am a traditionalist. I love Origin. I loved, you know, all that. I grew up watching Origin, but I didn't grow up, you know, watching Tonga and Samoa play because I didn't have that heritage.
Yeah.
But the game has changed.
Yeah.
Like the game has changed. We need to adapt to what the players want to, or who the players want to represent. And I just feel like, we need to simplify the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the passion will still always be there. For
Always.
New South Wales
to me, it's always going to be there. I don't think it's going to dilute. I think it's always going to be there. And I think we go back on the point of the best players playing in the biggest and best games. That's what the fans want to see.
Imagine AFB and Haas running at Queensland.
Well, I saw a comment about Adam Fanua-Blake. He's played for New Zealand. He's played for Tonga. He's born in Australia. Lived in Meadowbank. Hasn't played Origin.
That's what. Like he grew up in New South Wales.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things, right? Like that's kind of one of the cases we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. Like it's just. I don't know. Maybe let's hear from the fans. Let's hear from let's hear what some of the fans want to say. Like, drop us a comment on what you guys think. You know, with regards to the eligibility rules. Like, it is obviously a hot topic, and we've spoken a lot about it with regards to it popping up every single year. But let us know what you guys think. Drop us a comment below on the YouTube comments, and we'll put the best comments up in next week's episode. Because I guess everyone probably has an opinion on this, with where they stand and probably their age demographic and background. But we'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, seems like the noise is getting a bit louder every year as well.
It's going to, for sure.
But yeah, change is probably coming.
Yep.
The bunker. I want to get your take on a couple forward passes on the weekend. We love the bunker.
A couple forward passes on the weekend.
There were a couple forward passes on the weekend.
All right. A couple that should have been forward, or
no.
A couple that should have been called forward.
Allegedly.
I don't want to say too. I can't say too much.
Just allegedly.
No comment.
But do you think the bunker should be able to call them forward passes? Like they call on whether a ball's been knocked back and forward off a player's hand. And like, to me, it seems pretty similar.
Yeah, I don't know if the technology is there at the moment to do it. You know, and the reason, like, why isn't it there?
But for me, in the case of I don't know if you watched last night's game, Kurt Mann's try that got disallowed.
Yes.
Where I think Ashley Klein was right there in line with the play. But he caught up to the bunker.
Yeah.
And they made a decision that the ball went forward off.
Yeah.
Like that to me is kind of like
it's calling it
forward, right? So if you can see if a pass is going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of tries or it changes the game a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think the bunker should be able to call them forward passes.
Yeah. I think it should be able to
at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not talk about the bunker too much.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I guess do I think they should be able to call it forward now? Probably, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answer. But I just think there are some forward passes that we see that get let go. If you're in doubt, in my opinion, or you think it's 50-50, you probably let it go. Because you probably want to give the attacking side the benefit of the doubt. I've always been a big believer of that.
Yep.
Attacking side, benefit of the doubt. But yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Next up, the high tackle crackdown this weekend.
Yes.
Massive topic.
Yes. Huge topic this weekend. Obviously it was always going to be a big weekend with obviously what happened last week with regards to some of the news getting put out there about the high tackles and the NRL crackdown and foul play and things like that. And, you know, it seemed to me like there was a lot of frustration after some of the games this weekend and a lot of inconsistencies. And I think this is kind of what happens when you crack down on something that is new or newish or gets put like a bit more of a highlight. You know, seeing Ricky Stewart, his press conference after the game with how frustrated he was. He wasn't the only one. Like there was a lot of other players. I know that the Reece Robson one in the Cowboys game, there was a lot of frustration there. I saw some of Tommy Dearden's comments. He seemed a bit confused, I would say the word was.
Yep.
Ricky Stewart, I thought, was probably confused, frustrated, angry, all of the above. I mean, we love seeing a Ricky Stewart classic stick. Love seeing Ricky Stewart press conference. But yeah, look, I think it's probably just the inconsistencies, and it's hard for the referees, like, because they're obviously getting told from the top down what to actually do. So yeah, I think it's something that will continue to be really monitored closely. But at the end of the day, like, there are a lot of incidents in the game that are just accidents.
Yeah.
Like players, whether they're carrying the ball, fall or lower themselves into the tackle and hit either at shoulder height or an arm. So forever and ever, we're going to have these instances where players are going to fall, slip into a shoulder and, you know, hit their head on the shoulder, and it's going to be high contact. And players are going to go off the field for just absolute accidents. And that's the thing that, like, there's no intent, there's no malice to try and hit someone high. It's just the game and what happens. So
because when you're in it, it's so quick.
It's so absolutely quick. Like someone's running at you, trying everything you can to stop someone who's probably 20 kilos bigger than you, and then all of a sudden they trip or something, and it's just...
It's almost just like it's something you can't police. You just got to...
Yeah, I mean, like, I did like the referees, like, you know, some of their language with regards to, like, force and intent. Like, I feel like there's scope to use that a little bit more, you know, in sort of, I guess, judging or having a look at each and every example of what happens. But, yeah, obviously a lot of inconsistencies out of the weekend. Am I surprised by it? Definitely not. Do I think it's going to continue to happen? Yes. I think the protection of players' heads, that area, is a big focus of the game moving forward, and the safety of players.
As it should be.
As it should be. You know, we live in a different world these days from what it used to be, and and the game and everyone are focusing on ways to make the game safer and to protect the players more, which I am all for. I absolutely love it. But yeah, just trying to find the consistencies and the balance between, the brutality of the game and the safety of the game, I feel is the biggest key for that moving forward. So yeah, what's up next?
I've got a bit of a clip for you.
All right, here we go.
These boys, I think Charisma on YouTube, they run some run it straight.
I've seen some of this actually. Let's have a go.
I'll get your reactions to it, eh?
Jeez. I've seen a little bit of this on TikTok and on Instagram.
Yeah. It's freaking brutal.
And I don't know what the hell these guys are thinking.
I love it, mate. They're getting the crowd, eh?
Absolutely insane. So it looks like, oh, sheesh. Run it straight. Oh, yeah. Stand over. Wow. Oh, trucked. Oh. Man. Oh, my God. Oh. How did he stay on his feet? Oh.
So good.
This is like a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the crowd they're getting.
Man, that's
awesome.
That looks like a little event. The crowd looks like there's hundreds of people there.
It's a great idea.
Great idea. It's brutal.
They're probably disregarding HIAs in
100%. Would I ever do something like that? Never, ever.
Yeah, who would you run it straight against?
Oh,
call someone out.
Jaden Brayley? No, he's my mate. And yeah, wow. Like, maybe we need to go out there one day and film a vlog.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out in real time.
I think we should go out there one day. Wow. Shout out to those boys, man. And I think I've seen a couple of videos of those run it straight things happening, but yeah, wow.
That's awesome.
Great stuff, man.
Yeah.
Let's
bit of highlight for you for the weekend. You had a little commentary.
Yes. I did want to highlight this on the weekend actually. Had my New South Wales Cup commentary debut on Fox League on Saturday, so if you've watched a little bit of the vlog, you would have seen I've had some behind-the-scenes meetings over the past couple of weeks, and I had my first game on TV on the weekend. I've done a little bit of radio over my career, or commentary career, but I haven't commentated a TV game. So that was my first chance to commentate on Fox League. It was Parramatta versus St. George, and a host of NRL players with experience, and I loved it. I loved everything about the opportunity, the preparation, learning some of these young guys' players and their backgrounds. I want to shout out to Random Stats Guy, who sent me through a cheat sheet as well, helped me out with some stats on Instagram, so check his page out. He sent me through all the names of the players and games played and all their stats and some interesting things to talk about. So I want to thank him. But yeah, just the preparation of getting there, setting up, putting the headset on, and then working with the main caller, Ben Homer, his name was, and Spud Carroll as well. So yeah, I just absolutely loved it. Felt really at home, felt really comfortable. I was a little bit nervous at the start. I was like, this is almost like game day nerves for me, where, you're going in there, you want to do a good job and impress. And so I absolutely loved it. Something I'd love to do more of in the future, and hopefully I get another opportunity to do it. But yeah, just wanted to share that was some big personal news for me on the weekend that I absolutely loved, and yeah, really enjoyed it. So it was massive. Mate, let's get into round 5. Key takeaways from round 5. Obviously some huge games over the weekend. Started on Thursday night with the Raiders. The Canberra Raiders do Raiders things in the last minute, 24-20 against Victor's Sharks. Insane finish from the Raiders. Just never, ever giving up on the play. Sebastian Kris, wow. What a try. Unbelievable scenes. Those scenes on the sideline of the Raiders boys going absolutely off. I mean, that's why you play footy. It was incredible. So shout out to the Raiders. What a huge win in the scheme of their season. Hudson Young, 2 tries as well. He was huge, I thought.
They deserve that win, man.
They did deserve the win. He obviously spent time in the sin bin as well. So a huge win for the Raiders. The next game on the weekend was the Friday night 6 o'clock game. Cowboys 22, Panthers 18. Huge win for the Cows. Massive win. I mean, the Cows haven't probably had the best start to their season, but to come down to CommBank and just find a way. on the back of their desperation, defense. They had some really outstanding performances. Jackson Purdue is growing in confidence each and every week. I thought he was excellent on the weekend. Had a tough game a couple of weeks ago against Manly with Olakau'atu.
Round one
has since then just bounced back and gotten better and better each and every week. So
100%.
I'm really happy for Jacko because I know how hard he works on his game. Rob Derby, also a young winger who's been playing on the right wing, had probably his best game of his young career so far as well. But for the Panthers, 4 losses in a row at the moment for the Panthers.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
They completed at 68%.
68%
16 errors.
And 16 errors, which is what you just don't see from Penrith.
Un-Panthers-like.
It's very, very un-Panthers-like. They are in every single game, and they're in the game, obviously, in that game to the very end with those stats. Like 68% completion, 16 errors, and they still just lose by 4 points.
What do you see from this side that's like maybe missing? Obviously, they lost JFH. Do you think kind of the loss of the amount of experience they had is kind of catching up to them? Yeah,
like they've lost a lot of experience for sure, definitely. But I think they also I think their outside backs are a little bit young at the moment, and they're probably not controlling the balls well enough, but they're not defending their errors well enough either. So, look, do I think they'll still make the 8?
100%.
100%. I think they'll make the 8. I think every team goes through a tough period throughout the season. This is theirs, just probably sooner rather than later. But 4 losses in a row at the start of the season, you need to start winning sooner rather than later. So, obviously we'll keep a close eye on the Panthers. Mate, the next game, Rabbits 20, Roosters 14. Yeah. Disappointing game for us. Another game where we were right in it up until the end of the game. We just couldn't hold on. So, obviously it hurts a lot when you can't get the job done. It's kind of been the story of our season so far with being in these tight, close games, just not being able to get the job done. So, I really believe in our group and our boys at the moment. We've got a very young team, a very different team. And we just got to stick together. We've got to work hard at training as a squad, as a team, and fight our way out of it together. Some real positives out of the weekend, a lot of defence, some positives with our defence, but also Billy Smith returned from a really long layoff. He didn't play a single game last year, came back in the centres. We lost Mark Nawang and Nitawase during the week with some calf tightness. So Billy Smith returned and scored a try as well. So shout out to Billy. He was awesome. Teddy was, doing Teddy things. He was in absolutely everything. And Siwa Wong, well, I thought he had an excellent game considering he's only, somewhat 20 games into his career on that right edge. So, yeah, disappointing loss for us against the Rabbitohs. It was a very fiery game. The arch rivals. Yeah. It was really, really cool to experience that. Excuse me. Next game was the Saturday game. Eels 23, Dragons 22.
What a game.
What a game. Golden Point, first Golden Point game of the year.
I loved watching this game.
This was an awesome game, and I commentated this game. Sorry, I commentated the game before, and then I drove home and then got home and watched it. I was going to stay out there, but I had to get home to the family, had it on the TV, and it was a huge game for Zach Lomax and Gutho. Obviously, big players swapping teams, and a lot's been made about those decisions. Some of the things I absolutely loved was when Gutho scored his tries. The Dragons fans doing the Gutherino in the crowd. I absolutely loved seeing that. The Eels fan was just blowing up. Yeah, the Eels fans weren't happy, but that was funny. I thought that was hilarious. So shout out to those Dragons fans, man. They did a good job. I thought the Dragons probably should have won this game before Golden Point. I mean, I thought they were going to win. I just thought that the way that the Dragons started, Para probably played their best game
100%
so far of the season.
Dylan Brown played his best game of the season.
Dylan Brown had his best game of the season, which we'll touch on him a little bit later on. I said pre-game, I thought Dylan Brown needed to have a big game. I knew Zach Lomax was going to be in and around their top 3 best players because of just the way he's been playing at the moment. But Dylan Brown, I thought, really stood up. Had probably his best game of the year. And then when they went to Golden Point, I really feel for Lockie Ilias. Kicks that ball out on the full and gives the Parramatta Eels some good field position. And it probably came down to that. He got they gave Lomax a chance to kick the field goal, and Lomax got the ball and he executed. So, it's not Lockie Ilias's fault, but obviously, you got to feel for him with that error at that crucial point in the game. Lomax too good, ice cold, executes the field goal, and Para get their first win in paradise for the first year.
I don't think Dragons fans should be too disheartened about that one.
Yeah,
I think Eels needed the win and really showed up.
Yeah,
and I don't know. You saw how they played against the Storm last week. That's how they can play. So
yeah. I mean, I think Dragons fans, they'll probably be disappointed. I don't know what their record is at the moment. I think they've won one game, one bye, so they might be on 4 points. I think Storm was their first and only win last week. Yeah.
Yep,
that's right. Anyway, we'll move on. Dolphins 36, Titans 10. 4X Derby in southeast Queensland on Saturday night. Titans, to me, lacked a little bit of intensity. Probably made some crucial errors to give the Dolphins, field position throughout the game. And I probably thought this game might have been a bit tighter than it was, to be honest. I thought Isaiah Katoa, I really feel like he's getting better and better at the moment. He's throwing dummies just left, right, and centre, which I think's great. His combination, I feel, with Cody Nikorima and Hammer is really starting to evolve, and they're sort of now, having played all of last season together and now this season, feel like they're really starting to form that combination and have confidence in each other's games, and they look right at home. So that's really been something to watch for Dolphins fans, is that combination grow. And then obviously you've got Jeremy Marshall-King at hooker as well. So I really feel like the Dolphins' spine is heading in the right direction, after a slow start to the season, but just their time and connection together. I feel like they need to have a big game every game for the Dolphins to win. And when they do, they get scorelines like this, 36-10, connecting, scoring tries, and that's when they're at their best. I did notice on the commentary, David Fafita copped a lot of criticism from, I think it was Vossi. I think he was getting ripping into him. Only having 5 runs for 57 metres in 65 minutes. He's a beast, man. He probably needs to touch the ball.
Just needs to get a bit more involved.
Probably double that more, 10, 12 times a game. He should probably be over that 100 metres for an edge forward. 100 metres probably should be a minute. Forwards
he always
has
has been, right?
Edge forwards are probably less than front row forwards because they probably get a little bit less carries, but with the way he carries the ball and how big and strong he is,
he's a superstar. He's
a
star
superstar
of that team, and he's just not getting the ball enough.
So I think you probably come up with a game plan to get some more specific plays for him. More design plays to get him the ball, get him at halves, get him running at smaller people. So
Tino got sent off as well in the first minute from that high shot. So I think Titans are on the back foot since then. Yeah, straight away they were, and that was probably another decision that Des Hasler's press conference, actually, I saw. He was similar to Sticky. I feel like these Desi and Sticky. The ex-halfbacks, actually, back in the day. Just the boys just ripping
old school, just ripping into the refs and ripping into the NRL about these rules. Des has always been a bit of a character, funny to kind of watch, his mannerisms in the press conference. He's always and that's what you get. And I don't know. I don't know Des, but big
that's
respect.
That's the best little impression I've ever seen.
Much respect to Des. Much respect.
I love Des.
The Saturday night game, the last game of the evening on Saturday night, Broncos 46, Tigers 24. Broncos too good at home. Tigers obviously without Luai due to suspension. Big takeaways from this game. Adam Reynolds goes off with hamstring injury. Any update from NRL physio there, Victor?
NRL phys? He said a couple of weeks, there was no time frame on it, but it was just hamstring tightness.
Yeah. Well, see, with the hamstring, it's either tightness, gradual tightness is okay if you come off before anything goes, but if you feel like something go, then that's you're going to be out for a couple of weeks. So, your man Terrell May.
Yep.
I know you
140 metres.
You give him big love each and every week, Terrell May.
Yeah, it was him versus Haas. That was a powerhouse battle today.
That was a powerhouse battle, actually. And actually one of the big takeaways from this game, which is what I want to break down today, was the second one of Xavier Willison's try, and it was off the back of a Ben Hunt 40-20. And if you go to the play the ball, we'll pause it there. You see a lot of the Tigers players are in and around the ball, the dummy half, and Pakes is obviously, in dummy half, and he's got onto the left. He's got Willison out to the left with Ben Hunt deep out the back, and then on the right he's got Brendan Piakura nice and flat, and Reece Walsh, who's the absolute key to this play, he's out the back on the right side, and he's going at pace, and he's putting his hands up and he's calling for the ball. And then as the ball gets played, you see Corey Pakes just shape a little head fake to the left, and then Willison follows him from the left to the right. Piakura runs an excellent straight line inside the 4-man for the Tigers. And because Walsh is demanding the ball out the back, Fainu doesn't think that his 4-man can check that lead and then get off out the back. So he shoots up at Reece Walsh, and then that creates the gap for Willison to go through. Corey Pakes does a great job at holding the ball up and then throwing a nice little soft paw to Willison, opens up the gap. But I think it's just an excellent execution of play. And Reece Walsh just out the back, selling it, creates that space and brings Fainu up out of the line, and then just the subtle ball play into Pake. So I really enjoyed that play from the Broncos. It's one of my favourite plays, actually. I used to do it with Jason Tamalalo at the Cowboys. But the Broncos get a set start off the Ben Hunt 40-20, work to a field position, and then execute. So well done to them.
Yep.
Great try.
Tigers were in it.
Tigers were in it.
Up until like the 50th minute.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out the Tigers. Yeah, they've mate, and we've given the Tigers a lot of flowers so far this year on the podcast about how much they've grown off the back of, a lot of new additions to their side and some players, who are playing really well at the moment. So sometimes you just take an L.
Yep.
Next game was the Sunday game. So the Battle of Brookie, I'm pretty sure this is known as. Storm versus Manly, 48-24. Did not see this scoreline coming. Wow. I don't think I have ever seen anyone do this to a Manly team at Brookvale for quite some time. I mean, the crowd was just like non-existent.
It was stunned.
Storm absolutely on fire. Grant Anderson had an absolute game. Three tries. Yeah, 3 tries, 201 metres. So, man, what an awesome game from Grant Anderson. Jerome Hughes comes back from like a broken hand after like 1 week. Pretty sure he's got like screws in it too. He had like a big pad and stuff on it.
That's hectic.
Yeah.
You did say the way to beat Manly at Manly is to just come out firing and score that first try, and Storm did that, scoring 3.
They were up like 18-0, I'm pretty sure, straight up.
Like 20 minutes.
So that's the way, man. You got to start fast. You got to start fast against Manly at Manly. They've got a hostile crowd, very loud. So, like we said, if you start fast, you eliminate their crowd, and then you can get a little bit of momentum. And Storm had that. I thought they were just going to keep scoring, and they were kind of blown away at halftime, Manly, and then the second half.
They came back a bit.
They had a little bit of a fight back, which is kind of what happens when you get a little momentum back. But obviously, Manly, Storm, just too good. They were able to rest some guys at the end of the game and just give them some time off their feet and put the queue in the rack. And there you go, Battle of Brookie. Day. Just another day's work for the Storm. Wow, they're
back to Melbourne.
They're impressive, man. They're an impressive fit out.
Good side.
And as are the Bulldogs. Bulldogs versus Knights. 20-0. The Dogs undefeated so far this season. Who would have thought the Dogs absolutely killing it at the moment? The first clean sheet of the year, I'm pretty sure, in the NRL. Just the Dogs on the back of their defence. I mean, it's something that Cameron Ciraldo has been very big on over his time as head coach. Their pressure defence and the way that their line moves. Their kick chase has been excellent over the opening month and a little bit of the season. And it's such a good feeling when you go on these runs and win multiple games in a row. And you can just see the Dogs camp, they're all having fun. At training, it's all fun. Everyone's laughing.
Yeah. Training's
intense. You get to games, you're winning. Confidence is sky high.
Vibes are good at the
Vibes are good. The fans absolutely love you.
Yep.
And then on the other hand, like if you're losing, it's the complete opposite. Yep. Like vibes are low, confidence is low. Fans hate you. Training's not as fun. But yeah, Kurt Mann, 200 NRL games for Kurt Mann, so a huge milestone for him. And the Knights obviously lost a couple of players as well. Schiller, they lost him in the first minute. That was heavy contact. Look, his ear was bleeding.
He looked so dazed,
and he's holding his head. Poor fella.
His head must have been ringing. Hey,
yeah. It did not look good. So he's went off the field straight away with a HIA. So fingers crossed for a quick recovery for him. And I did see Adam O'Brien. He said he was proud of his players, the way they fought with their
defense. They held him out for ages.
Yeah, and they for a long period of the game it was 14-0. So they did have chances to kind of get back into the game, but hung in there. So
they went into half time. It was 2-0.
Yeah, it was the first half was excellent.
Yeah.
The Dogs obviously came out of half time and.
Well, yeah. I think Knights just defended so much, and I said at halftime to my mate, who's a Doggies fan, I was like, the floodgates are going to open at some point because Knights just got knackered and
defending too much. Yeah, I agree. So, Dogs 20-0 on top of the NRL competition at the moment. So massive for them, absolutely. Massive, mate. We'll move on. What do we got next? Next up,
Big Footy Guy.
Big Footy Guy of the Week. All right. So our Big Footy Guy of the Week is a chance for you guys to get involved in the show. So all you need to do is head over to @Chad Show on Instagram, and you need to make sure you follow us for your chance to win a $50 playersgolfclub.com.au voucher. You just need to comment on who your Big Footy Guy of the Week is. In our 3 nominations this week, we've spoken briefly about these guys a little bit so far in the podcast, but our first nomination is Hudson Young. 2 tries, 2 offloads, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist, 150 metres and 1 sin bin. Hudson Young was on for the Raiders on Thursday night. He was dominant. He was everywhere, and that's just, I guess, the Hudson Young that we've kind of get to know over the past couple of years. Is he's a real enforcer and a big player for.
He's putting his hand up for Origin now as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think he'll be there. Obviously, he has played there before, so doing an excellent job there at the moment, Hudson Young. The next one was Isaiah Eong. He probably had his best game in the NRL, I thought, on the weekend for the Parramatta Eels at fullback. He looked absolutely electric and dangerous.
He's getting better every week.
Every time he touched the ball, I thought something was going to happen. 222 metres, 1 try assist, 6 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists. He was on fire. So I want to give much love to Isaiah Eongi. He was really up for this game, obviously playing against Gutho. It would have been a big game for him, I think.
He's trying to show him up.
Yeah, for sure. He obviously wanted to play better than Gutho, and obviously they got rid of Gutho for him. So he would have been up for it, and he was up for it, and obviously got the win as well. So Isaiah Eongi is our next nomination. And our last nomination for Big Footy Guy of the Week from round 5 is Grant Anderson. 3 tries, 4 tackle breaks, 4 line breaks, and 170 metres. So a huge effort from Anderson. 3 tries is just incredible. They weren't easy as well. They're a couple where he had to show some footwork and some strength to get the ball over. So a really solid try from Grant Anderson. Mate, we'll move on to Halfback House. Halfback House now, where we look at some of the halves plays from the weekend. We break down some of their plays and what they did really well from the weekend. The first one we're going to have a look at is just the Storm Spine connection. We've basically got all 3 of them at the moment. It's Hughes, it's Munster, and it's Pappenhausen, and they're all involved in this play. The Storm move over to the left part of the field, and they basically link up. Munster comes off the edge with his middle forwards, gets Hughes out the back, and it's Kamikamitha who runs a really, really great line inside Travojevic, Ben Travojevic on the edge, where he just has to check, and then Hughes is just going hard and fast at Luke Brooks, and Luke Brooks probably doesn't defend this as well as he should have. If you watch it closely, Luke Brooks kind of turns his shoulders towards the sideline, and that's a cue for Jerome Hughes to just run. So had Luke Brooks had to keep his shoulders square, Hughes isn't probably going to run. He'll probably pass, but because he just turned out, and Ben Travojevic had to obviously check that lead of Kamikamitha and then try and get to Hughes. He didn't have the speed to do it, which then allowed Hughes to go through. He comes through, he finds Munster back in support, and then Munster finds Pappenhausen under the post. So 1, 6, 7, all connecting the spine, the halfback house. We absolutely love that. So these guys have been playing football together for a long time, and that connection, or that combination doesn't just happen overnight. Like, it doesn't happen in 5 games. It doesn't happen in 12 games. It happens from years and years of playing together. And these guys have been together for a long time and really seem to be in sync at the moment. Our next nomination was Dylan Brown. We spoke about him before. Probably his best game so far of the season. 164 metres. Dylan Brown is always playing his best when he's running the ball. He's got elite footwork, and I thought he was excellent on the weekend. 1 try assist, 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 28 tackles, and he was in everything. I thought he worked really well with Isaiah Aongi. We spoke about him before. To break down the Dragons. I thought he was great. So Dylan Brown is a big key for the Parramatta side moving forward. Obviously, he's copped a lot of criticism probably over the past couple of weeks.
I think, definitely the noise was loud at the start of the season, which might have affected his game, but it's kind of died down now, and you can maybe see that in his performance. So hopefully he can...
I mean, that's usually always what happens, if you... obviously it was massive news when he decided to sign with the Newcastle Knights, and everyone had their opinion on, was it a good deal? Should it have been 10 years? This and that. And it's like, Dylan Brown can't handle that. If someone offers him a 10-year deal, it's like, yeah, okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So and nothing of Dylan Brown's wrongdoing. I think for him, it's just been, his focus has just been on the footy.
Yep.
And obviously Parramatta just haven't been playing well. So, and he's been affected by that with his game as well. So it was great to see him bounce back and get a good game, and hopefully, for his sake, they can continue that role on.
Build on that for sure.
Mate, we'll move on to fan questions today.
J Rich 11, fantastic analysis, Chad. If Egan can stay healthy, especially with his head knocks, do you think he will play 9 or 14 for New South Wales?
J Rich, appreciate that. Appreciate that comment. Thank you very much. Look, I think Wade Egan can play for New South Wales for sure. Like, he is good enough to play New South Wales. Do I think he's in the running at the moment? I think he's probably a little bit down below in the pecking order. I think Robson
would be 14, right? And
yeah.
Robson would be 9.
Yeah, well, I think Robson is, to me, still starting for New South Wales at 9. I think Connor Watson is the 14 still. I don't think he's done anything that's sort of said that he shouldn't be there. He's an incumbent series winner. And then obviously you've got Api Coruscant in there as well. So do I think Egan's probably next? He's probably 4th.
He'd be up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then you've got Blake Brayley as well, who's played some good consistent footy over the past couple of years.
Yep.
Multiple options. But I think
hard to drop last year's team.
Yeah, you can't. Excuse me, you can't. You can't, especially after a series win.
Yeah.
Like, you're not making changes. So I think he's there or thereabouts. Do I think him playing at the Warriors probably affects him being seen a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, I think,
unfortunately.
I think if he was in a Sydney team doing this, he might be sort of perceived a little bit differently maybe. Do I think he's an excellent player? Bloody oath. Great player, very crafty. He's had a great start to the season. His ball playing skills and the way he can hold the ball up and fire it is just
the no-look passes.
Oh,
the no-look passes off dummy half, and he just does it all the time. And
if he gets a quick ruck, he shows, boom, and he goes straight through. Yeah. So I think he's an excellent player and not far off from Origin. No, not far off. So, yeah.
Next one, Mike Cool. Hey, Chad, loving the podcast. Just wondering, is it better to do weights before a field session or after?
Mike, really good question. And you'd be surprised how many questions I actually get from fans about, what's a program I should do? What's a conditioning? What's a weight session? What's a field session? How do I practice my kicking? I get all these questions all the time from younger kids. So
send them through. Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep them coming. We love these questions. Do I think... Look, the training's changed a lot in the NRL. Like, a couple of years ago, maybe like 6 years ago, we would never, ever do weights before we ran. We would always run, and then we would always do weights after. But nowadays, it's like, it is quite normal to do weights and then to run after. So do I think it's better to do weights before or after a field session? Look, I don't think it really matters. As long as, like, you're not lifting like heavy and really fatiguing yourself before you run. You kind of want to train with purpose. So why are you training before compared to why are you lifting before compared to after? You need to make sure that you understand those reasons. So whether you're doing, a more powerful lift or lighter lift and just functionally moving and then running, or you're running and then you want to lift strength after. So it does kind of change. I definitely would be able to elaborate that on a bit more at another time. May even make a full video on it one day. Just all my
We could do a vlog.
On all my thoughts on training. Like I'm no personal trainer, but I've trained as a professional for a long time. I've got a lot of things that I like to do, a lot of things I don't like to do, and a lot of things that I think help me with my preparation. So, yeah, really good question, Mike. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Mate, what's that? Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah. Sweet.
Cracker.
All right, that's it, guys. Look, thanks so much for joining us today on the show. We really do appreciate your support. If you enjoy the podcast on audio, Apple and Spotify, please make sure you rate and review us over there. And if you're watching here on YouTube, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop us a comment. Look, that stuff, it is just very, very small thing for you guys to do, but it means a lot to us on here on YouTube, and it does help our channel, helps our show grow and grow. And we want to build this community with you guys, answer all of your questions, get you guys involved, have lots of fun. And that's about it. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Let's go.